CD1 Track 1.
So, what are teenagers like?
Well, everyone is different, but on the whole, teenagers are fun-loving, and they are hardly ever unsociable. They love company, and I'd say few teenagers want to be on their own.
CD1 Track 2.
So, Anna, what type of people do you dislike the most?
Well, I get on with most people, but I find it hard to be with people who don't tell the truth, who are dishonest.
Okay, what do you like about yourself the most?
I guess the fact that I'm well organised and not messy like my sister and a lot of my friends.
What would you change in yourself?
I've got little imagination, and I'm not very creative, so I think I'd love to change that.
CD1 Track 3.
Today we have with us Josh Collins, who will tell us all about different types of teenage personalities.
Hello, everyone.
Josh, why do we talk about teenage personalities? Do they have little in common with the rest of us?
Yes and no. Teenagers tend not to hide their emotions, so their personality features show much more. Teenagers behave spontaneously. As a result, certain types of extreme behaviour are more typical of younger than more mature people, who can control their emotions far better.
Some examples?
In an average class, we often come across so-called beauty kings and queens, for whom image is never unimportant. They set trends for the others and wear amazing clothes, both top brands and second-hand ones. Then we have drama queens, who seldom stop panicking and for whom even a small problem is a total disaster.
And who are overachievers?
Overambitious and super smart types. Everything they do focuses on being the best. Other students look up to them, but few want to make friends with them. They're also ecomaniacs, health nuts, and technology freaks. It's easy to guess their obsessions, isn't it?
Sure. I still think that there are lots of adults who behave in the same way.
Yes, but as I said, teens manifest their personalities in a more powerful way. When they grow up, they hardly ever stay the same. Certain features will always remain the same, obviously. But as we develop into adults, we become more sensible.
I guess so. Thank you, Josh.
You're welcome.
CD1 Track 4.
When I was a child, we used to spend our summer holidays in the countryside. Next to our cottage lived this most incredibly strange man. My parents warned me not to approach his house, but one day my curiosity took over, and I went over to see the house. I felt absolutely petrified and pretty thrilled at the same time. Suddenly, I heard a gentle voice saying, "Hello, young man." I turned back and I saw him. My hair stood on end and I froze. Then he smiled and told me not to panic. He turned out to be a weird but friendly guy. I took to him straight away.
CD1 Track 5. 1.
I once met a very strange girl. It was at a summer camp. The two of us ended up sharing the same room, so I felt I had no alternative but to make friends with her. I'd always been very outgoing and open-minded, so it was part of my nature to want to socialize with people. She seemed the complete opposite, withdrawn, unwilling to chat, and quite bad-tempered. Anyway, I plucked up enough courage to talk to her. I asked her to go with me for a walk, and guess what? She told me to go to hell. I couldn't believe my ears. Can anyone be so antisocial? Fortunately, I managed to get to know some other people. My roommate just turned out to be a quiet girl with no need to socialize. We learnt to accept that we were different.
2.
The person I want to tell you about was a real weirdo. He was my friend's neighbour. He was skinny and lanky. He wore the most ridiculous clothes and very bright collars and shoes which never matched. He had different haircuts every month and a rat for a pet. People also said he was difficult to talk to. Well, one day we were both waiting for the same bus. As the bus was late, we sat down on the bench and we struck up a conversation. He told me all about his passion for music and art, about his need to look original, and the fact that he was lonely because everyone judged him by his appearance only. In the end, we found we had a lot in common. This was the first time I'd been delighted my bus didn't come on time.
3.
I adore people watching. There are so many different individuals in the world, each one looking different with a different set of values and beliefs. I often go to the local park to observe people and their lives. Strangely enough, this is how I met my best mate. One day I went to the park and sat on the bench. I saw this odd-looking girl. She looked dressed to kill, a perfect outfit, high heels, professional makeup. Someone I'd never want to befriend. The strange thing about her was that she was singing a song and crying. I felt sorry for her, so I approached her, asking if she needed any help. We sat down and chatted for the rest of the day. She was upset because she was fed up with pretending to be someone she didn't want to be.
4.
I think I'm attracted to so-called eccentric people. Most of the people I know avoid them, but I always find these individuals interesting. I believe they are weird for a reason. They often develop unusual interests and tend to be artistic, imaginative, and very sensitive. The best example is my friend Julia, a bit of an oddball. She's a music freak, but her real passion is stargazing. Once she invited me over to a party. I'd expected to meet lots of people, as you do at parties, but it turned out that it was just the two of us listening to rock ballads and watching the sky at night. Strange as it seems, I had the time of my life. It was just terrific.
Personal data. Address. Age. Date of birth. Divorced. Female. First name. Gender. Male. Marital status. Married. Nationality. Occupation. Single. Surname. Widowed. Country of residence. Distinguishing features. Ethnic origin. Next of kin. Appearance. Attractive, unattractive. Beautiful. Fit. Good looking. Handsome. Plain. Pretty. Ugly. Cut down on. Go for darker colors. Paint your nails. Put on, lose weight. Straighten. Take up a hobby, a sport. Fat. Muscular. Obese. Overweight, underweight. Plump. Skinny. Slim. Well-built. Lanky. Stocky. Bald. Blonde. curly, dark, dyed, red, shoulder length, straight, wavy, auburn, fine, thick, fringe, have a centre side parting, ponytail, receding hairline, wear your hair loose, up, beard, freckles, moustache, pale, tanned, dark complexion, pierced ears, scar, spotty, tattoo, wrinkles, birthmark, clean-shaven, clear skin, double chin, high cheekbones, high forehead, piercing blue eyes, clothes, blouse, boots, bra, casual, coat, dress, fashionable, trendy, fleece, gloves, hat, jacket, jeans, jumper, old-fashioned, pyjamas, sandals, shirt, shoes, shorts, skirt, smart, socks, suit, sweatshirt, tie, tracksuit, trainers, trousers, underwear, waistcoat, wear, ball gown, boat-necked, cardigan, collar, cuffs, dressing gown, high heels, hoodie, long-sleeved, short-sleeved, strapless top, V-neck, belt, button, cap, earrings, glasses, handbag, bag, jewellery, necklace, ring, scarf, tie, bracelet, brooch, shoelaces, slippers, zip-up, checked, cotton, gold, leather, plain, silk, silver, spotted, striped, tartan, wool, elastic, fur, lacy, lined. Features of character: aggressive, ambitious, bad-tempered, big-headed, brave, careful, careless, caring, cheerful, clever, confident, overconfident, drama queen, easygoing, energetic, extrovert, friendly, fun-loving, generous, gentle, hard-working, helpful, unhelpful, honest, dishonest, imaginative, unimaginative, independent, intelligent, introvert, lazy, mean, messy, nasty, nice, open, optimistic, pessimistic, outgoing, patient, impatient, polite, quiet, reliable, unreliable, responsible, rude, selfish, unselfish, serious, shy, silly, sociable, unsociable, talkative, tidy, untidy, bossy, cowardly, eccentric, materialistic, modest, moody, odd, oddball, sensitive, sincere, sympathetic, weird, weirdo, whiz-kid, withdrawn, feelings and emotions, angry, annoyed, be in a good, bad mood, bored, cross, depressed, disappointed, embarrassed, excited, exhausted, frightened, nervous, pleased, relaxed, scared, shocked, stressed, surprised, tired, upset, worried, amazed, delighted, nagging feeling, petrified, shattered, stunned, worn out, interests, adore, be a fan of somebody, something, be hopeless at, be interested in something, be into something, be keen on something, be mad about somebody, something, can't stand, play games, board games, work out, ethical problems, abortion, charity, drug abuse, fair trade, homelessness, unemployment, corruption, racism, death penalty, euthanasia, freedom of speech, gambling, genetic engineering, privacy, other, brief, come across, complete, develop into, eco-freak, fitness maniac, focus on, grow up, have a lot, little in common, health nut, huge, identify, Look up to. Realize. Recognize. Remember. Remind someone to do something. Spend money on. Spot. The complete opposite. Typical of. Be part of someone's nature. Befriend. Bizarre. Can't believe your ears. Common experience. Find common ground. Have the time of your life. Place. Pluck up the courage to do something. Raise questions. Scan. Sophisticated. Strike up a conversation.
CD1 Track 6.
An urbanite is a city lover, a person who lives, works or studies in the city, and who has fun socializing, shopping, or just being on the move. He or she enjoys life in the city because it gives them the chance to bump into interesting people and get lots of professional opportunities. Urbanites adore trendy gadgets and have more contacts on social networking sites than any other citizens. Not surprisingly, then, they'd probably die if they had to move to a quiet neighborhood in the country.
CD1 Track 7. 1.
I fell in love with the idea of house swapping the first time my parents decided to do it. I'm 20 now, and so far we've lived in 5 other houses. The idea is that you find somewhere where you'd like to live and look for a homeowner there who wishes to exchange his or her house with you for a short while. We live in a busy city, so we always swap houses with people from the countryside. They'd miss the hustle and bustle of a city while we're happy to be close to nature. It's a wonderful idea.
2.
The concept of house swapping isn't very popular in my country yet, but I think more and more people are beginning to take an interest in it. To me, it seems like a really crazy idea. I just can't imagine how anyone could let strangers sleep in their bedroom or use their bathroom. What's worse, who would want to lie in someone else's bed or shower under their shower? There's also the security issue. How do we know that the people moving into someone's house are honest and won't damage the property? House swapping just doesn't make sense.
CD1 Track 8. 1.
We'd lived in the city since I could remember, so when last month my parents announced we were moving to the countryside, I felt totally amazed. Dad said he'd found us a spacious, fully furnished house in a nearby village. As I didn't want to move anywhere, I didn't know what to say. Our flat was small, but I liked it. Anyway, we went there a few days later, and guess what? I bumped into our new neighbour, a 20-year-old girl, and I fell in love at first sight. I didn't mind the move so much anymore.
2.
Are you fed up with living in a busy city? Have you had enough of your tiny flat and noisy neighbours? If you feel like that, perhaps it's time for you to consider moving to a more peaceful environment. Visit Stand 36 and change the way you live. Find out more about our affordable cottages outside the town. Our dedicated staff will answer all your questions and help you make the right choice.
3.
I don't think I can find words to describe the place where I live. Instead of a cosy 2-room flat in a pleasant neighbourhood which I thought I was going to rent, I'm renting a tiny room in a rough area. The room has little furniture too. My landlord may be quite friendly, but he hardly does any housework, so if I don't clean the kitchen, it stays a mess for days. I know it's only student accommodation and the rent is low, but I'm already thinking of moving out.
4.
Are you in the mood for a change? Have you been thinking a lot recently about the place you call home? Are you frustrated with your ancient-looking rooms? If so, you're more than welcome to follow our advice and ideas to furnish your house from top to bottom. On the first 2 floors, you'll be spoilt for choice. Don't forget to visit our top floor to talk to our interior designers who are ready to assist you in any way they can. Whether you live in a cottage or a modern apartment, we've got what you want.
CD1 Track 9. 1.
I don't know what possessed me to buy a studio flat in the most hectic capital in the world. I think you must be off your head to want to live in this loud human beehive. I wish I hadn't made that silly decision.
2.
I thought I got on with most of my neighbours pretty well. Admittedly, most are just nodding acquaintances, but I had no idea how much they talked about me behind my back. Recently, I bumped into one of them, and he said that all the others were kicking up a terrible fuss about my apparently too loud music system and wanted to report me to the police.
3.
Everybody raves about how peaceful it is and how different from the busy life of a city dweller it could be. They say you sleep better and breathe fresher air, but frankly speaking, living in the countryside doesn't grab me at all. Plus, I'd take ages to get used to the new environment and neighbours.
CD1 Track 10.
Hello, let me introduce Dylan Watson, a man who has spent the last 3 years researching so-called teenage household behaviour. Welcome, Dylan.
Hello, everyone.
Why this area of research? Everybody knows that teenagers detest doing housework, so what is there to discover?
How little teenagers can be counted on and how much of a disservice they're doing to themselves. Once I was working on an article when I stumbled upon some Australian statistics regarding how much time modern teenagers dedicate to helping around the house, and what they were actually able to do in comparison with the previous, more concerned generations. I was thrown by the findings, which clearly showed that an average 19-year-old who is about to turn into an adult knows next to nothing about how to carry out basic household duties.
Why is that such a problem? Teenagers are busy with their schoolwork. This seems to be their household duty in this day and age.
What you said reflects the parents' attitude too, and that's a huge problem.
Why exactly?
To start with, there's a generation after generation of young people who are unable to do such elementary tasks as loading a dishwasher. A bit worrying, isn't it? Secondly, parents are left alone to look after the house. But the most damaging is that the less parents require of teenagers, the less independent the children become. So, when they move in with their own partner, they won't be prepared to do things around the house. This may lead to tensions and even a divorce, some therapists say.
Lack of some basic life skills, isn't it?
Lack of self-sufficiency or over-reliance on others, more like it. We call it the epidemic of domestic helplessness. And it's down to parents who are to blame here to stop this. All it takes is to get their teenager used to, for example, cooking a meal once a week. This will only make life easier for grown-up children when they leave the nest.
How true. I'm 28 and I can't cook well or iron my clothes properly. So what can be done?
I've heard of a family who are eager to make the switch from urban to rural life. The parents took lessons from local farmers, which their son refused to turn up for. Soon the son had no choice but to watch his parents grow vegetables and breed animals. When encouraged by his dad to help out, the boy would object. So the father adopted a policy that if the boy needed his parents' help with anything, he had to do some chores around the farm. Like it or not, the boy learnt more than he probably wanted. And, surprise, surprise, he's a successful organic farmer himself, earning a fortune.
Wow, what a story.
Yes, indeed.
Thank you, Dylan.
You're welcome. The place where we live. Block of flats. Building. Bungalow. Castle. Cottage. Detached house. Family home. Farmhouse. Flat. House. Mansion. Nursing home. Semi-detached house. Studio flat. Terraced house. Tower block. Villa. Affordable housing. All mod cons. Auction. Bedsit. Bid. Dilapidated. Housing estate. In need of renovation. Mobile home. Retirement flat. Sheltered accommodation. Under construction. Away from. City. Commute. District. In a rural area. In the centre. In the countryside. In the suburbs. Inhabitant. Located. Neighbour. Neighbourhood. Old Town. On the edge of. Overlook. Public transport. Residence. View. Village. A stone's throw from. Across the road from. Amenities. Central location. Hustle and bustle. In the heart of the countryside. In the middle of nowhere. Lane. Off the beaten track. Within walking distance of. Describing houses. Attic. Balcony. Basement. Cellar. Bathroom. Bedroom. Carport. Ceiling. Chimney. Dining room. Door. Downstairs. Drive. Fence. Fireplace. Front back door. Garage. Garden. Gate. Ground floor. hall, hedge, island, kitchen, laundry room, lift, living room, lounge, loft, porch, roof, shed, sitting room, stairs, staircase, steps, study, upstairs, wall, burglar alarm, double glazed, extension, fish pond, floorboards, flowerbed, landing, smoke alarm, solar panels, stair rail, utility room, windowsill, airy, brick, bright, cluttered, comfortable, convert, cozy, decorated, eco-friendly, furnished, unfurnished, glass, homely, luxurious, maintain, modern, mud, second-hand, spacious, steel, stone, tidy, untidy, wooden, badly decorated, cramped, dingy, dusty, oak, old-fashioned, open plan, stuffy, unique looking, well maintained, alarm clock, armchair, bath, bed, bedside table, bin, blanket, blinds, bookcase, bookshelf, bookshelves, carpet, CD player, central heating, chair, chest of drawers, cooker, cupboard, Curtains. Net curtains. Cushion. Desk. Dishwasher. Double bed. Duvet. Equipment. Fireplace. Fitted carpet. Flower pot. Freezer. Fridge. Hoover. Lamp. Light. Lighting. Microwave. Mirror. Oven. Picture. Pillow. Poster. Radiator. Rug. Sheet. Shelf. Shower. Single bed. Sink. Sofa. Table. Toaster. Toilet. TV set. Wallpaper. Wardrobe. Wash basin. Washing machine. Antique. Fruit bowl. Hand of a clock. Kettle. Kitchen appliances. Kitchen utensils. Mantelpiece. Ornament. Shutters. Silver frame. Potted plant. Rack. Household and garden jobs. Change the sheets. Do the gardening. Do the housework. Empty the dishwasher. Have green fingers. Hoover the carpet. Iron the clothes. Make the bed. Mow the lawn. Sweep the floor. Tidy the desk. Broom. Brush. Duster. Lawnmower. Rake. Rubber gloves. Spade. Trowel. Renting, purchasing and selling property. Accommodation. Ad. Advert. Flatmate, housemate, roommate. For sale. Landlord, landlady. Live on one's own. Move in, move out. Pay in advance. Rent. Share a room, flat, house. To let. Bill. Budget. Charge. Deposit. Estate agent. Housewarming. Installments. Notice. Payment. Per week, per month. Take out a mortgage. Tenant. Other. Affordable. Beyond. Complain. Embellish. Fully furnished. Keep your eyes on. Miss. Nearby. Rough. Sharp. Sigh. Stare at. Sulk. Tiny. Be off your head. Blurry. Bump into. Get into. Kick up a fuss. Rambling. Run down. Snug. Solitude. Squashed. Stain. Stream in. Stumble upon. Turn into. Turn up for. Wrapped up in.
CD1 Track 11.
Attention, attention. This is Mike Wiley from Grade 3. As I'm sure you know, our new e-platform is up and running. Those of you who have registered by now are already enjoying reading the school news as well as looking at funny photos and videos. I just want to remind those of you who haven't done that yet to log on by the end of this week. If you need help, contact the school office. Thank you.
CD1 Track 12.
How am I supposed to do online projects with the students when the computer lab is never free?
Yes, I agree. It's the same with me. Every time I want to use it, I find out that either the biology or chemistry teacher has booked it.
I know what you mean. Yesterday it was full of Grade 1 students doing a project on famous sculptors or painters. Miss Bale told me the lab was the only place where her students could use the internet.
What's happened to the school's Wi-Fi system then?
I don't know. All I know is that we can't teach the students computer science without computers.
CD1 Track 13. 1.
Are you tired of learning English words and expressions by heart? Do you find English grammar impossible to learn? Are English essays your worst nightmare? Does it all stress you out? If so, you'll enjoy our new webpage, which is full of entertaining and interactive exercises designed especially for students revising for their school leaving test. Check it out now and tell us what you think. We already hear that it's as useful as our ideas last year for practicing communication in English.
2.
Tom, congratulations on your exams.
Thanks a lot.
How do you manage that year after year? You must study every day or learn a lot of things by heart.
Just the opposite. I want to understand what I'm supposed to learn, so I just make notes, read them, and reread them until I feel I know everything I need to know. I also have a good memory, which helps.
Lucky you.
3.
I think it'd be a good idea to study from home in front of your computer. Just imagine not having to get up every morning.
I'm not sure. I prefer it when I can see the teachers face to face. Like now when we're getting ready for our final exams. The teachers motivate me to make more effort, and revising with the rest of the class helps me a lot.
Well, maybe, but I hope that there will be more online learning next year. I've heard that universities and colleges do more of it.
We'll see. We must pass the entrance exams first anyway.
4.
I've been a teacher for about 20 years, and I know how difficult it is to engage learners, so I'm a fan of all the new ideas that could help me motivate my students. There's a trend in modern education called gamification. All the learning happens through problem-solving games in which students score and collect points. It sounded brilliant, so, like many other teachers, I decided to try it. And guess what? It was fun for a few weeks, before my students got bored again. I know now that even games can demotivate teenage learners.
5.
My study room is in the attic, but it's got quite big windows, so it's pretty light and airy there. The room itself may not be very spacious, but it's really cozy. My mum says that it's too cluttered and keeps telling me to get rid of things, but I quite like it the way it is. It isn't untidy, just full of things I couldn't study without. It makes me feel like a real scientist.
6.
I've just come back from the USA. I went to a typical school there for a year, and it was a totally different experience from going to a Polish school. I improved my English for a start, but the interesting thing was that my school used cloud-based learning, which meant we studied online most of the time. I found doing all the projects very enjoyable because the cloud allowed us to share and edit our materials in real time. But I actually discovered that I missed being in a traditional classroom.
CD1 Track 14. 1.
I'm really in two minds about what to do in the future. Most of the students in my class pass their exams with flying colours, and I hardly scraped through them. I'm really struggling to understand why this is the case.
So just like me. I never skip classes and I try to pay attention, but I just don't think I'm an academic type. I'm not cut out for university. I guess I should find a job and forget about a degree. You've got to be at least average to cope with the amount of coursework you get at university.
You're right. Maybe I should do the same. What's the point of doing a degree course if I seem to score just a few points in every single test?
2.
How do you recall information more effectively? Is learning by repetition ever a good idea? These questions have been the main point of the most recent conference held by a panel of experts from a variety of educational institutions. A lot of attention has been devoted to ideas which can be applied to achieve better retention of information. Apparently, students who take advantage of such techniques outperform those who don't. An example of such a technique used to memorize the North American Great Lakes is the acronym HOMES, which matches the letters of the 5 lakes: Huron, Ontario, Michigan, Erie, and Superior. Here with me is Professor Higgins to tell us more about these effective ways of committing information to your memory. Professor Higgins, can you...
3.
Do you think that the so-called virtual classroom will ever succeed?
I hope it will never replace the traditional school, as I can't imagine students enjoying studying stuck in front of their computers at home. I know that recent surveys clearly demonstrate young people's great attachment to technology, but in my view, teenagers crave the company of other young people and actually value face-to-face communication. So going back to your question, I don't think so.
Do you believe that one day teachers will sanction the use of mobile phones in the classroom?
My experience tells me that they won't, because most teachers see cell phones as a threat in the classroom. But I believe that most educators will be encouraging their learners to take advantage of mobile technologies and different apps to study at home.
That's some kind of compromise, I guess. School subjects. Art subjects. Biology. Chemistry. Double lesson. Foreign languages. Geography. History. Humanities. IT, Information Technology. Mathematics, Maths. Music. PE, Physical Education. Physics.
Ukrainian.
Religious Education. Science subjects. Social Sciences. Design and Technology. Economic Education. Environmental Science. Media Studies. Sports Psychology. Grades and course requirements. Cheat. Copy. Cram. Diploma. End of term, end of year exam. Exam paper. Examination. Extra lessons. Take an exam. Fail. Final exam. Get caught. Get results. Give marks. Go towards. Grade, mark. Memorize. Mock practice exam. Oral. Pass. Past paper. Practical. Retake. Revise for. School leaving exam. Send out. Take a test. Test. Written. A-levels. Academic results. Award. BA, Bachelor of Arts. MA, Master of Arts. BSc, Bachelor of Science. Certificate. Distinction. GCSEs. Get a degree. Graduate. Graduate from. International Baccalaureate. Pass with flying colours. Scrape through. Win a scholarship. School life. Absent. Bell. Break. Bully. Check your work. Concentrate. Coursebook. Coursework. Curriculum. Deadline. Dictation. Do your homework. Do research. Do write an assignment. Do write an essay. Get suspended. Give a presentation. Give a talk on. Hand in homework. Lunch break. Learning style. Make mistakes. Miss lessons. Motivate, motivating. Notebook. Packed lunch. PE kit. Play truant. Present. Present. Project work. Report someone. Set homework. Sick note. School bus. School year. Take a gap year. Take notes. Term. Timetable. Work on a project. Work in pairs. Absentee. Absenteeism. Assembly. Attendance. Compulsory. Concentration span. Cut classes. Detention. Forge. Free period. Obligatory. Old student. Optional. Prize giving. Punctuality. Take the register. Take time off. Tutorial. Caretaker. Classmate. Classroom assistant. Form tutor. Head teacher. Headmaster. Headmistress. Pupil. Staff. Student. Teacher. Careers advisor. Deputy head. Head girl, head boy. Lecturer. Prefect. Canteen. Classroom. Common room. Corridor. Gymnasium. Head teacher's office. Laboratory. Library. Playground. Sports field. Staff room. Lecture theatre. Extracurricular activities. Attend a course. Belong to. Charity event. Club. Exchange trip. Extracurricular activities. Fundraising event. Take part in. Join a club, a society. Member. Pay attention. School trip. Society. Summer camp. Training. Voluntary work. Education system. Academy. Coeducational school. College. Comprehensive school. Do vocational training. Elementary school. Grammar school. High school. Independent school. Junior high school. Kindergarten. Nursery. Primary school. Private school. Secondary school. Single-sex school. State school. University. Boarding school. Public school system. School fees. Serve an apprenticeship. Stream. Workshop. Other. Concerned. Confused. Disappointed. Elicit. Emphasize. Enforce. Ensure. Familiar. Frightened. Impressed. In favor of. Let loose. Live up to expectations. Lose count of. Maniac. Put a plan into action. Rates. Stuffy. The far end. Way to. Work surface. Be in two minds about. Cater for. Crave. Deserted. Draw up. End up. Face-to-face communication. In anticipation of. Maintain. Memory aid. Motivational speech. Opt for. Outperform. Panel. Struggle. Subdivide. Treasured. Vote with your feet.
CD1 Track 15.
Josh, as a teacher, do you think that so-called learning styles matter?
Some time ago, I didn't used to think so, but the longer I teach, the more I can see that they do. The greatest difference is between extroverts and introverts, who have completely opposite needs as learners.
So how do you cope?
Well, I've worked out some good ways of dealing with this problem, and I think my students can see it and value what I do.
So how do you work with extroverts?
First of all, extroverts love talking, participating in and organizing things. They are individuals who learn from the others in a group. They must discuss things to understand problems. They find reading, writing and research challenging activities because these are not done collectively.
And introverts?
They tend to enjoy reading, listening to lectures, writing things down, and above all, working independently. They are happier if they don't have to speak up in class at all. So I allow them to contribute to the classroom discussion only if they feel like it. I never make them do what they don't feel good at.
Wow, your student must love you for that.
They definitely have a more positive attitude to learning because they can show their strengths without showing their weaknesses. I don't want to work with their weaknesses, but I try to help them show off their strong points.
Thank you, Josh, for your time.
You're welcome.
CD1 Track 16. 1.
I was never a very ambitious student. I found most subjects difficult to follow. All I wanted to do was play tennis. My PE teacher understood my passion and he agreed to give me extra tennis lessons after school. He'd been a tennis player in his youth and he'd won a few tournaments, which I found very inspiring. We started with 2 lessons a week, but ended with a lesson every day. After about a year, I was getting ready for my first match. I trained very hard, but the hardest for me was gaining enough self-confidence to believe I could win. My teacher noticed that, and he began to work on my personality. Within a few weeks, I felt much more self-confident. I didn't win the match, but I won much more. I gained a lot of self-worth.
2.
When I was in middle school, I was very good at maths. I didn't need help from anyone to do even the most challenging tasks, which my teacher noticed very quickly. She asked me to take part in some maths competition, but I wasn't keen on the idea because I was not a competitive person. For me, competing with others was extremely nerve-wracking. My teacher insisted, so in the end, encouraged by my parents, I agreed to go for it. I had 3 months to prepare for the big day. What I was worried about the most was whether or not I would be able to overcome the anxiety. On the day, I was so uptight that I couldn't concentrate on the tasks very much. I didn't do very well in the end, which shocked everybody but me.
3.
I thrive on competition. Every time I can compete, I do. When I know there is a school competition coming up, I do my best to prepare for it. I study almost day and night, and I must say I love that. I feel the adrenaline in my veins, and this motivates me to keep on going. I don't always win the competitions, but I usually do quite well. But what matters to me is that I can test myself against others. People ask me if I ever feel stressed out before or during the events. Well, of course I do, but the stress has a beneficial influence on me. It helps me focus.
4.
I know that winning school competitions is a great achievement. After all, a good place in a competition gives you a better chance to get into the university of your dreams. However, for me, lots of competitions are only a good idea for individuals who can overcome their stress easily and who are good at coping with failure. I'm not one of them, so I avoid comparing myself with others as much as possible. The only competition I've ever decided to enter was a photography contest because I love taking photos. I took 4th place, and if I'd wanted to, I could have taken part in an international competition. Of course, I was delighted to hear the news, but I didn't go any further with it. I was afraid of losing.
CD1 track 17. 1,
What I'd hate the most would be to have a job I didn't like.
2,
Enjoying my job will be the most important thing for me.
3,
What I'd love in particular would be to have a job with a large IT firm.
CD1 track 18.
So what changes can we expect in the future labour market? Should young people prepare somehow for what's waiting for them?
Definitely. In the past, most people had a job for life, while now most graduates leave their job within 3 or 4 years. Young people have to be ready to change their jobs and move between companies. But I guess the most significant aspect is that they must be in the habit of gaining new knowledge and skills.
Will there be any new professions?
I believe so. There'll be more and more self-employed people and more part-time jobs. Of course, technology will change the way we work even more, especially when it comes to medicine, farming, education, or entertainment. Let's not forget about space exploration either. Among other jobs, there'll be a particular need for space tour guides when commercial flights into space start for real.
CD1 track 19.
Monica, what advice would you give to young people who are now making decisions about their future careers? What will help them to get a job in the future?
Some time ago, I tell young people to study law or economy. Perhaps psychology, but it's different now. Today's money-making professions such as lawyers or mass media experts definitely won't stay the best paid jobs. So these days, I encourage young people to choose a career which will earn them money in the future.
So a trendy job like a social media consultant won't be so popular in the future?
According to futurologists, it won't. Instead, there'll be other fashionable professions connected with the use of technology. But not only that, the most needed jobs will actually be linked to our aging population.
Such as?
Someone like an elderly well-being consultant will surely find work. This person will mainly specialize in looking after the health of senior citizens. Also, anyone who knows how to entertain people over 60 years old will be welcome. This age group is as active as teenagers these days.
Any other new professions?
An avatar manager who will be responsible for managing your virtual you.
Wow, so IT skills will matter the most, won't they?
Not exactly, because everybody will have IT skills. People will have to show some other skills to become employed. We call them hyperhuman talents, jobs which computers can't perform, such as live entertainment, sport, caring for others, or leadership.
Will any job stay the same?
I'm sure some professions will always stay the same, especially tax collectors and undertakers, because life and death will still go on.
Great, what a conclusion.
CD1 track 20.
Tom, do you have the slightest idea what job you'd like to have after university?
I've been thinking about it, and I know for sure that job satisfaction will be absolutely vital for me. I couldn't do a job I hate. At the same time, though, earning good money is a must for me. I wouldn't mind a freelance job like my dad's, too. He is well paid, and his work is very creative. The only thing he complains a little about is the fact that he's allowed to work exclusively for this one company despite being a freelancer. He says he actually accepted the job primarily because of all the extras he gets on top of his salary. I wouldn't mind such a job at all.
CD1 Track 21. 1.
I feel I'm far too young to make a decision about my future career path. Everybody keeps asking me what I want to do, but I really have no clue what I want to do work-wise. I'm a bit of a technology freak, so people assume I'll study IT, but I can't possibly imagine myself working in front of a computer screen all the time, no matter how much I get paid. In fact, this would be the least appealing option for me. All I know is that whatever job I land, I'll have to get a lot of satisfaction from it. I'm not too money-minded, but my brain definitely switches off when I have to do dull things. So I wouldn't last long in a job which I don't find creative and exciting enough.
2.
I'm just about to graduate from my uni, so sooner or later I'll have to find a proper job to support myself. So far, I've only had some experience working part-time, and I must say I've enjoyed every minute of it, not to mention having my own money. So I hope that when I get a full-time job, I'll make the most of it. I'm quick to learn things, ready to work under pressure, and devote myself to what I do, particularly if my work allows me to show my strong point, such as my creativity and good interpersonal skills. I think I'm the type who will live to work rather than work to live, so I'll be a perfect employee.
3.
As far as I'm concerned, it's pretty impossible to choose what to study if you have to think about your future work. I thought I could study what I'm passionate about, which is art, and then find suitable employment. This doesn't seem to be the case, though. Most people I talk to tell me that choosing a profession which will guarantee me some proper money in the future is absolutely crucial for me. They assure me that artists or art teachers won't be necessary in a decade or so. I find it hard to believe, but I must admit it's beginning to worry me a bit. If only someone could offer some reliable information regarding future trends in the job market.
4.
I've read a fascinating article about some new professions that are likely to emerge in the future, and I must say I found it quite inspiring. I've been wondering for a while what to do in the future, and what I read helped me make up my mind to become a digital architect. I'll be designing computer-generated 3D buildings called digital skins, which will be used by advertisers, for example. I realize that the studies could be pretty challenging because you must be both art and technology oriented, but that doesn't bother me so much. My only problem is that the course will be quite pricey. Maybe I could apply for a scholarship or get a bank loan.
Jobs and responsibilities. Accountant. Actor. Architect. Beautician. Boss. Bus driver. Cashier. Chef. Computer programmer. Dentist. Doctor. Economist. Electrician. Farmer. Fashion designer. Film director. Firefighter. Flight attendant. Hairdresser. Instructor. Journalist. Judge. Lawyer. Lecturer. Librarian. Manager. Mechanic. Miner. Model. Musician. Nurse. Office assistant. Painter. Paramedic. Pharmacist. Photographer. Pilot. Plumber. Police officer. Politician. Postman. Receptionist. Sales assistant. Sales representative. Scientist. Secretary. Shop assistant. Soldier. Surgeon. Teacher. Travel agent. TV presenter. Vet. Waiter. Waitress. Writer. Carpenter. Chief executive. Comedian. Counselor. Doorman. Editor. Graphic designer. Handyman. Nutritionist. Psychiatrist. At work. Be in charge of. Do something for a living. Look for. Profession. Take responsibility for. Work. Work as. Work for a company. Work in a hospital. Work in an office. Work in sales. Work in a team. Work on. Work under pressure. Work with. Dangerous. Manual. Satisfying. Skilled. Stressful. Tiring. Challenging. Dead end. Monotonous. Motivating. Rewarding. Undemanding. Employment and work conditions. Badly paid. Bonus. Career prospects. Chance of promotion. Change jobs. Colleagues. Contract. Do work overtime. Do work shifts. Earn money. Duties. Earnings. Full-time. Get a job. Get a promotion. Promote. Income. Leave your job. Paid leave. Part-time. Pension. Get a pension. Per hour, week, month. Permanent. Retire. Retirement. Salary. Sick leave. Sick pay. Tax. Teamwork. Temporary. Tips. Unpaid. Well paid. Work long hours. Workplace. Business trip. Do the graveyard shift. Expenses. Get regular feedback. Have an appraisal. Hourly rate. Job description. Minimum wage. Pay into a pension scheme. Pay rise. Increase. Probation. Trial period. Productivity. Public holiday. Quit a job. Serve an apprenticeship. Sign a contract. Staff morale. Take early retirement. Take unpaid leave. Yearly appraisal. Working conditions. Temporary work. Au pair. Babysitter. Charity worker. Checkout assistant. Delivery boy. Delivery girl. Fruit picking. Holiday job. Lifeguard. Seasonal work. Summer camp supervisor. Summer job. Tour guide. Voluntary work. Wages. Weekend job. Job market. Advertise. Applicant. Application form. Apply for a job. Be fired. Be made redundant. Become employed. Candidate. Covering letter. Deadline. Do well. Employee. Employer. Enclose. Entrepreneur. Fill in. Find work. Get careers advice. Go bankrupt. Go freelance. Freelancer. Have an interview. Have experience. Hire. Human resources. Job center. Job offer. Job satisfaction. Keep a record. Lack of experience. Lose your job. Offer a job. Out of work. Position. Post. Qualifications. Recruitment. Reference. Reject. Resign. Run your own business. Self-employed. Shortlist. Situations vacant. Staff. Take up a job. Unemployed. Up to date. Vacancy. Work from home. Attach a CV. Check out a company. Get in-house training. Get sacked. Go on strike. Hand in your notice. Hand over information. Have a complaints procedure. Join a union. Sign on the dole. Start up a business. Take on. Take over from someone. Take time off. Take up a position. Take up a reference. Work flexi time. Other. Ability. At some point. Consult. Drop out of. Fashionable. Grumpy. Inheritance. Launch. Money-making. Routine. Summarize. Trendy. Well-being. Wonder. Body language. Computer-generated. Contagious. Content. Devote oneself to. Do something work-wise. Emerge. Focus on. Go together. Have no clue. Last long. Make the headlines. Money-minded. On top of. Positive thinking. Put something into practice. Technology-oriented.
CD1 Track 22. 1.
I must say I get on well with most people from my family and with my friends. I don't argue with anyone except my half-sisters who are very jealous of me. Our parents treat us the same, so they've got no reason to complain there. Mum and Dad support the three of us as much as possible. However, my half-sisters often tell my friends lies about me and talk about me behind my back. I can't accept that, so we often argue about it.
2.
I keep hearing stories about parents who embarrass their teenage children in many different ways, but this isn't true of my mum and dad. No parents are perfect, but I couldn't have better ones. They always respect my need for privacy, so they don't read my diary or my text messages. What's more important, they behave and dress normally. They don't try to be cool and young like some other parents. They are truly wonderful people. Well, most of the time at least.
CD1 Track 23. 1.
Well, what can I say, ladies and gentlemen? You know your children better than I do, and you should be able to help them find solutions to their emotional problems. The school and myself can only support you in this area, because we can't expect teenagers to tell us how they feel about their conflicts at home. If you'd like to talk to me about anything else in particular, please stay a bit longer. Thank you all for coming.
2.
My dad and I didn't used to get on with each other very well for years. I thought he never understood me and was very critical of me. But I changed my mind when I realized how much he'd had to do to bring me up on his own. He always encouraged me to achieve more and told me off for being lazy. Because of my dad, I trained basketball professionally and I got into university. I really look up to him now. He's my hero.
3.
Nobody is perfect, and this includes my best friend, Molly. She tends to be moody and pessimistic, which is a bit irritating. But the worst thing is that she plays with her mobile phone every time we meet. Last week we argued over this, and we haven't talked to each other since. There must be a solution to this problem, because if we don't fix it, we'll lose each other. It isn't worth losing your friend over something like this, is it?
4.
Do you feel embarrassed by your parents? If so, do something about it. Don't shout at them, shut the door behind you, or feel angry. Instead, explain to them how the whole situation makes you feel. If it is about your parents' cool teenage clothes, tell them these are not necessary for you to know that they are good and understanding parents. If it's about their sense of humor in front of your friends, ask them not to joke like that. Tell them you admire them anyway. Want to know more? Ring our experts now. They're waiting for your call.
CD1 Track 24.
Well, a lot of people believe that technology has a really negative impact on young people and their interaction skills. Apparently, teenagers no longer know how to communicate with each other. Well, at least this is what I keep hearing on TV. As far as I'm concerned, it isn't always the case. Most teenagers I know are bubbly individuals who talk to their friends all the time, don't you think?
Yes, sure. But what's changed is their medium of communication. They chat online, text each other, or express themselves through blogs, for example. However, at the same time, I must agree with some experts that more should be done to encourage face-to-face interaction among young people.
How do you see that?
Why don't they just meet up without their smartphones and computers and just chatter on? Though some skeptics say it's impossible these days.
Well, I guess we adults should talk with youngsters more often too.
Not convinced. Teenagers aren't fond of discussing things with adults.
Oh, I disagree with that.
CD1 Track 25.
Hi, Luke. What are you reading?
Hi, Aga. I'm reading a fascinating article about the Stop Phubbing campaign. The idea started in Australia, but has spread to the USA and Britain now. I think this campaign is a brilliant idea, because for me, this type of behaviour is totally antisocial. Have you heard about it?
Not really. What's it all about?
It's about people who fiddle with their mobile phones while talking to you, either checking or replying to their text messages, browsing the net or playing games. The name phubber comes from two words, snub, which means ignore, and phone.
Oh, I see. This is no news to me. I just didn't know this type of behaviour had its own name. I don't think we ought to come up with campaigns like that. Is it really such a big issue?
I guess it's the same as sending people text messages with birthday wishes or breaking up relationships in an email or a tweet. A lot of young people see no harm in it, but I find it simply rude. And I'm glad I'm not the only one. This campaign was launched by a 23-year-old student, so not someone who comes from the previous generation.
Well, we all do it, but I haven't lost a single friend because of this.
Well, that's what I hear from some people. Still, in my view, it just shows that we have no clue how to interact socially and look each other in the face when we socialise. What's the point of making an effort to meet in person if all your time is spent fiddling with your phone? You might as well stay at home and play with technology if you're so in love with it.
A lot of people spend their free time playing with technology, so maybe it's true that we just don't know how to communicate verbally anymore. When I look at my family, we're all at it. I must admit, I read that experts warn about the social and emotional consequences of this kind of behaviour, but I never gave it much thought myself. I think I should now.
Hence the campaign. People have to be made aware that phubbing kills relationships.
I wouldn't go so far in my criticism, but I agree that people should stop to reflect on it, because I believe that many of them don't even realise they're doing it. So I guess I see your point now. I think I'll support the campaign from now on.
Some psychologists go even further by saying that we're on our smartphones all the time because we consider our closest friends and family members no longer entertaining enough, so we subconsciously ignore them. However, I wouldn't go along with that, not yet anyway.
Oh, I don't think it's so bad.
Maybe not. Are you using your phone now?
Just to update my status on Facebook. It'll only take a second.
Can't you see that you're doing exactly what we've been talking about?
Oops, I'm sorry.
Like many others, you've just proved that we value the quality of apps and online stuff more than real-life conversations we could have instead. Although many of my friends would disagree here, I believe I'm in the right.
But we had a conversation, didn't we?
We did, but you've just put an end to it.
Stages of life. Adolescence. Adolescent. Adult. Adulthood. Birth. Be born. Bring up. Childhood. Death. Elderly. Engagement. Generation. Get engaged. Go to school, university. Have a baby. Kid. Leave home. Middle-aged, middle age. Old age. Pensioner. Retire. Retirement. Start a job. teenager, toddler, young adult, youth, be getting on, grow up, grown up, in your early, mid, late 20s. Look your age. Mature, immature. Turn 40. 25-ish. Young at heart. Family and friends. An only child. Adopted, adopt. Aunt. Best friend. Boyfriend, girlfriend. Close friend. Colleague. Cousin. Daughter. Divorced. Ex. Fiancé. Fiancé. Friendship. Generation. Get on well with. Go round with. Gossip. Grandad. Granddaughter. Grandmother. Grandparents. Grandson. Granny. Great-grandparent. Half-brother, half-sister. Have something in common with. Husband. Keep in touch with. Look up to. Make friends with. Married. Nephew. Niece. Orphan. Parent. Partner. Relationship. Relative. Separated. Siblings. Single parent. Son. Take after. Twins. Uncle. Be complete opposites. Best mate. Brother-in-law. Distant cousin. Extended family. Fostered. Foster a child. Identical twins. Immediate family. Soulmate. Stepfather, stepmother. Stepson, stepdaughter. Sworn enemy. Everyday activities. Brush your hair, teeth. Check your email. Clear the table. Do homework. Do the washing up. Do your hair. Eat out. Get an early night. Get dressed. Get ready for school. Get up. Go to bed. Go to school. Work. Go, come home. Have a bath, a shower. Have a lie-in. Have breakfast, lunch, dinner. Lay the table. Lie down. Load the dishwasher. Make a meal. Make your bed. Play games. Put out the rubbish. Set the alarm. Tell stories. Tidy your room. Wake up. Freshen up. Help out. Pick up. Put on a wash. Run errands. Free time activities. Chat with friends. Chill out. Come round. Dance. Do a course. Do a crossword. Do gymnastics. Do some drawing. Go clubbing. Go fishing. Go for a walk. Go jogging. Go out for a meal. Go rollerblading. Go round to. Go shopping. Go skating. Go swimming. Go to a party. Go to the cinema. Go to the gym. Have a night out. Have, organize, throw a party. Listen to music. Paint. Play cards. Play computer games. Play tennis, basketball. Play the guitar, piano. Practice. Read books, comics. See, meet friends. Sociable. Spend time doing. Sporty. Take a break. Take photographs. Take the dog for a walk. Take up a hobby. Watch TV, a film. Holidays and celebrations. Anniversary. Best man. Birthday. Bouquet. Bride. Bridesmaid. Carnival. Celebrate. Celebration. Christmas. Church. Congratulations. Contest, competition. Custom. Dress up as. Easter. Event. Fancy dress. Festival. Funeral. Groom. Hymn. Invite. New Year's Day. Reception. Ring. Send a card. Service. Valentine's Day. Wedding. Wrap a present. Birthday treat. Carnival parade. Family tradition. Fancy dress party. Golden handshake. Greetings card. Street party. Tie the knot. Lifestyle, conflicts and problems. Argue, argument. Behave, behavior. Break up. Disagree, disagreement. Discipline. End a relationship. Fall out with. Get a divorce. Get back together. Get on well with. Go on about. Ground. Have a fight. Make up with. Marriage. Rebel, rebellion. Respect other people. Responsible. Row. Split up. Stick to the rules. Take someone's side. Walk out on. Against your better judgment. Cheat on. Dump. Family values. Fellowship. Get your point across. Give someone the silent treatment. Go ballistic. Have a difference of opinion. Have an affair. Lay down some ground rules. Push the limits. Set boundaries. Stop an allowance. Talk things through. Tell someone off. Other. Appreciate. Cross a border. In question. Permission. Run away. Settle for. Simply. Talk behind someone's back. Wish for. Backdrop. Come down to it. When it came down to it. Cost a fortune. Equivalent. Fiddle with. Fuss. Go for. Ostentatious. Reflect on. Snub. Socialize.
CD1 Track 26.
What is your favourite world cuisine?
Not an easy question, but I think I'd go for African. It's become more and more popular. Where I live, there are twice as many African restaurants as in the past, so the choice is really great. This type of cooking is also quite new to me, so that's part of the attraction.
What is African cuisine based on?
It depends on where in Africa you go. I love North African food best because most of the dishes are a mixture of different local cuisines such as Egyptian, Turkish or Mediterranean. This cuisine uses a large amount of meat and vegetables. Nearly all the dishes have lots of spices in them, which is why I'm so fascinated with this type of cooking. I really recommend it.
CD1 Track 27.
In recent years, a great number of culinary TV programs and blogs have appeared to inspire millions of men and women to take up cooking. Many celebrity chefs have begun to share their ideas with ordinary people. And now it seems that you aren't cool if you don't follow trends in food. Maybe that's why over 80% of teenagers claim they love being in the kitchen. This is quite surprising if you compare this generation with the previous one. Everyone is just happy to hear that modern youngsters have taken to cooking. Bon appétit!
CD1 Track 28. 1.
So, Diane, tell us once again what candidates you're trying to find.
OK, not just anyone with a passion for cooking, but someone both creative and well-educated. A perfect candidate should skillfully prepare meals which look attractive and taste delicious. This person should also have a wide knowledge of food science and diet.
So a chef, in other words.
Not exactly. I'd say a combination of a chef and a food stylist.
Oh, I see. And the candidates should contact the Food Paradise restaurant, right?
That's right.
Thank you, Diane.
2.
Last year when I was visiting the USA, my friend took me to the World of Coca-Cola in Atlanta. It's a huge museum dedicated to this fizzy drink. I was really impressed with all the exhibitions, especially the one showing every single type of Coke bottle ever produced over the years. There were 4D presentations on the most important events in the history of this drink. I could taste almost all the Coca-Cola flavors ever made and have a photo taken with the most famous polar bear in the world. It was just awesome.
3.
What do you think of that new Italian restaurant? I found the atmosphere just perfect. The decor was very tasteful too.
I agree, but I wasn't sure about the choice of dishes. Some of the most popular Italian dishes were not on the menu. However, I must say that most of the food I tasted was truly terrific. The chef is Italian, so he knows his cuisine well, don't you think?
Absolutely. In my review, I'm going to recommend the place as very cozy with original Italian specialities.
I won't be too critical either.
4.
I've always loved cooking and eating unusual dishes. I never miss a chance to watch cookery programs which show how to prepare them. So it isn't surprising that when in one of the shows I heard about a new cookery course organised in my local youth centre, I got excited. The course is on food pairing. You know, the science of combining different ingredients to create original tastes. The only trouble is that the course costs twice as much as any other course I've attended before.
5.
Joe, what's your idea of comfort food?
You mean food that reminds me of homemade meals? Why are you asking anyway?
I'm asking because yesterday when I went out with my friends, almost no one ordered a British dish. I was a bit surprised, to be honest. When I asked my friends for the reasons, they said they didn't like our traditional food.
I must say I like English cuisine. I just love cottage pie or Yorkshire pudding. I guess most of your friends were fed ready-made pizzas or curry dishes, and they treat those as their comfort food.
Yes, maybe.
6.
My brother has always been into cooking, so over the years he's learned how to cook a great number of dishes for someone his age. His most impressive one is the sweet and sour Chinese chicken dish, and his second best is Greek moussaka. He really feels confident about cooking almost anything except maybe a real Indian curry. The reason is he can't find all the ingredients to make real curry.
CD1 track 29.
A recent survey proved that teenagers were pretty eager to learn how to cook. When asked about their willingness to attend cookery classes at school, only a fraction were of the opinion that such classes would not interest them. Approximately a quarter said they were quite keen to go to such lessons, while the majority greeted the idea with great enthusiasm.
CD1 track 30. 1.
Imagine yourself on a hot summer's day, sitting at a table in your local bistro, sipping a delicious fruity cocktail and thinking what you should order when the waiter comes back. Your mind is torn between a light but filling snack and an aromatic pasta dish full of fresh tomatoes and herbs. You open the menu again just to make your final choice, when out of the corner of your eye you catch the waiter presenting the couple sitting at the table next to yours a creation which looks out of this world, and whose amazingly sweet but spicy aroma fills your nostrils within seconds. What could it be? You keep asking yourself. The couple are over the moon about how tender the Welsh lamb is, and how unusual the mint sauce is. As you aren't a vegetarian, you decide you want the same. You call the waiter and point to the other table. The waiter says, "Sorry, mate, you were too late. All gone, my dear John. Don't hesitate next time. Not to know what's best is a crime." You leave the place with a sad face. Buy Welsh wherever you are.
2.
Ladies and gentlemen, in response to your questions, I'd like to address the issue of the slow food movement. The idea of slow food is indeed praiseworthy for a number of reasons. All kinds of experts give the following arguments, which I partly agree with. First of all, it is said to promote responsible and organic farming. Secondly, it should encourage people to turn away from fast food, thus making them eat healthy and nutritious meals. Finally, as I'm told all the time, it prompts people to slow down and find time for a relaxing meal. That's all very well, but I have my reservations. I believe that the slow food lifestyle will only be possible among rich societies, which can afford to grow and buy organic products. Secondly, for this movement to succeed globally, we'd have to change our working hours and have longer lunch breaks, which, as you know, sounds unrealistic. I can see its positive influences, but in a nutshell, the slow food movement leaves me rather doubtful as to its global appeal. Thank you. Are there any more questions?
3.
I'm sure you've heard of La Tomatina, a hugely popular festival in the Spanish town of Buñol. You know, the one during which people madly throw tomatoes at each other. A lot of my friends who have taken part in it say it's the most exciting festival in Spain. Would you say the same?
Well, I realise it's a long-standing tradition and most people see no harm in it, but frankly speaking, I can't see the point. The participants, approximately 20,000 of them, ruined tons of tomatoes, the number of which is always confirmed in the press. I think the vegetables could be used for some more sensible purposes like cooking meals for the poor or homeless.
Do people really support it?
I guess only a fraction of society ever protests, while the best part of the community is fully in favour of all the festivities from what I know. Call me old-fashioned, but it's not my cup of tea.
Food products. Apple, banana, blackberry, blackcurrant, blueberry, cherry, coconut, gooseberry, grapes, lemon, nut, orange, peach, pear, pineapple, plum, raspberry, strawberry, watermelon, beans, broccoli, cabbage, carrot, cauliflower, celery, cucumber, garlic, green peas, lettuce, mushroom, olive, onion, pepper, potato, sweet corn, tomato, aubergine, beetroot, leek, parsley, radish, bacon, beef, chicken, cod, crab, ham, herring, lamb, lobster, mackerel, octopus, pork, prawns, salmon, sausage, steak, tuna, turkey, mutton, oysters, venison, butter, cheese, cottage cheese, sour cream, eggs, margarine, milk, yogurt, bread, cereal, cornflakes, dumplings, flour, pasta, noodles. Rice, roll, biscuit, cake, cheesecake, chocolate, chocolate bar, crumble, dessert, pudding, ice cream, jam, lollipop, pancakes, apple pie, sweets, baked, dried, fresh, frozen, low calorie, skimmed, sparkling, stale, tinned, vegan, vegetarian, boiled, crusty, dry, French dressing, full fat, ground, homemade, instant, medium, microwavable, Neapolitan ice cream, poached, powdered, rare, scrambled eggs, shop bought, sliced, soft scoop, well done, wholemeal, beer, coffee, fizzy drink, juice, lemonade, milk, soft drink, tea, water, still sparkling bottled, wine, gravy, herbs, ketchup, marmalade, mayonnaise, pepper, pickles, salad dressing, salt, sauce, seasoning, spices, vinegar, bar of chocolate, bottle of water, jar of honey, loaf of bread, packet of crisps, tub of ice cream, box of tea bags, carton of orange juice, jug of milk, piece of cake, Pot of tea. Rasher of bacon. Spoonful of sugar. Tube of tomato paste. Meals and their preparation. Barbecue. Breakfast. Brunch. Dinner. Lunch. Packed lunch. Picnic. Snack. Supper. Tea. Add. Bake. Beat. Boil. Burn. Chop. Cook in the oven. Cool. Cut. Follow a recipe. Freeze. Fry. Go off. Grate. Grill. Melt. Mix. Peel. Pour. Put on a low heat. Roast. Serve. Shake. Slice. Sprinkle. Squeeze. Stir. Use up. Chew. Grease the pan. Gulp. Lick. Overeat. Rinse. Set the oven. Sip. Spread. Swallow. Undercook. Bowl. Fork. Frying pan. Glass. Jug. Kettle. Knife. Mug. Plate. Saucepan, pan. Spoon. Teaspoon. Toaster. Chopping board. Corkscrew. Crockery. Cutlery. Ladle. Sieve. Tin opener. Wooden spoon. Bitter. Delicious. Disgusting. Edible, inedible. Hot. Mild. Salty. sharp, sour, spicy, strong, sweet, tasty, tasteless, undercooked, weak, yucky, yummy, appetizing, unappetizing, bland, chewy, fatty, off-putting, tender, tough, eating places, bar, bill, book a table, cafe, cafeteria, canteen, celebrity chef, cuisine, customer, dish, eat out, fast food restaurant, fish and chips, full English breakfast, leave a tip, main course, order a meal, restaurant, review, self-service, service included, soup, starter, sushi bar, takeaway, waiter, waitress, culinary critic, delicacies, gastronomy, side dish, dieting, crash diet, cut down on, fattening, follow a diet, fresh, go, be on a diet, high, low in calories, junk food, lose weight, low carbohydrate, put on weight, ready meals, vegetarian, well-balanced diet, other, allergic to, allergy, apologize, come out in spots, common, life-threatening, medical attention, miserable, reassure, severe, sympathy, addictive, anticipation, be over the moon, benefit, circulation, creaky, cut out, demanding, dispel a myth, glossy, go along with, growl, harm. In a nutshell, indulgence, infer, insistent, let alone, longing, myth, not my cup of tea, feel nostalgic for something, out of the corner of my eye, out of this world, puddle, reasonable, resist temptation, rumble, snore, stir, trigger, urge.
CD1 track 31.
So, why do you think shopping malls are full of teenagers?
For a number of reasons. First of all, young people consider shopping malls very trendy places where they can see fashionable people. Secondly, this comes from the fact that shopping centres usually offer different attractions at the same time under one roof. So there are shops, but also cafes, sports facilities, and free Wi-Fi.
Is it true that teenagers go to shopping centres because they're bored and have nowhere else to spend their free time?
Some do, and in this case, it's a direct result of where the teens live and how many extra activities they are offered by their schools or local youth clubs.
CD1 track 32.
Is it true that more and more shopping malls are doing everything possible to stop young people from going there just to hang around? Shops want them to spend more money. Is that right?
Shops always want you to spend money, but the incident we are referring to was different. The shopping centre put up the signs saying something like, "Teenagers not welcome," which was caused by gangs of teenage boys who would come to the centre to fight with one another. I'm not surprised by this decision.
Neither am I, actually. On the whole, however, teenagers are good customers, aren't they?
Yes, absolutely so. Most shopping malls even try to attract them, which comes from the fact that teens have more and more pocket money to spend. They also have their own credit cards and are easy to influence.
CD1 track 33.
Jane, how do you feel about shopping for clothes with your teenage children? My sons want to be totally independent and buy everything themselves, but I believe that sometimes they need my advice. What do you think?
Well, recently I heard a journalist who said that parents should stay outside the changing room door rather than act as stylists. I agree, as I'm not a fan of teenage shops. Most of them play deafening music and have very bright lights, and that's why I can't stand them. So it's one of the reasons why I let my kids shop on their own.
That's true. These shops are not parent-friendly, and I believe it's done on purpose. The shops don't want sensible adults inside them. They want teenagers to shop there on their own so that they could sell the teens as much as possible. That's exactly the reason why I often insist on going. I don't want my children to spend money on expensive products. I want them to be reasonable with money, not to be manipulated, though I can't say I enjoy it.
I've never thought of it like that. Actually, I once went into a shop that was almost dark. My son loved it. He thought it was really exciting, but I couldn't even see the clothes or prices properly. I was exhausted after 15 minutes in that shop. Now I think it was done to discourage me from shopping there in the first place. Clever, wasn't it?
Yes, but I still believe that we must give our teenage children some freedom. perhaps at the same time keeping an eye on their shopping habits. This leads to greater trust and understanding between children and parents.
You're right, Rob. To change the subject, I just thought that it would be lovely to have shopping centres without teenagers around. It would be much quieter. I think it would inspire me to go shopping more often. Imagine all that peace and quiet in the shops.
It'd be great. In fact, I read about a shopping centre in Birmingham in England which plays only classical music. Apparently there are few teenagers around.
What a brilliant idea!
CD1 track 34. 1.
People think spending money is fun, but they don't realise that the more they spend, the less happy they often are. Overspending often results in debt and frequently gives rise to an addiction called shopaholism.
2.
It is difficult not to fall prey to marketing tricks because they are getting cleverer and cleverer. Marketing specialists do their best to entice people to go to shops and spend because that's what they are paid for and what they're very good at. They make the customers reach for their wallets in no time.
CD1 track 35. 1.
I work for the marketing department of a well-known retailer and I know how hard it is these days to sell things. Customers have become quite savvy and they've worked out what tricks we use to get them to buy more. The look of the shop premises isn't enough anymore. The tactics of, for example, putting some products by the till in the hope that the customers would buy them on impulse just before paying for the rest of their basket doesn't do the trick either. These days we're learning how to make use of eye-tracking technologies. It's a bit hit and miss at the moment, but we're working on it. Imagine you pick up a bottle of perfume. Digital screens behind the bottle, which could read your eyes, would be activated and you would be seduced by the images that were flashed in front of you. The technology would recognize your age and gender, so the images could get quite personalized. Wouldn't it be great?
2.
I understand that all kinds of marketing tactics are part and parcel of the retail business, but I think there should be limits to what they're allowed to do. Recently, I learned that companies sort of track down their potential customers by following their bank transactions, social media posts, mobile phone GPS signals, and Google searches. Now I hear that marketing specialists are planning to use GPS location data to target us when we're actually walking past one of their shops. So we'll get a text message advertising the sale in that particular shop. Personally, I have nothing against it, but the idea is going to spark off a lot of criticism among people who are already fed up with being hunted. I think companies can't just pick and choose any tactics they want without taking public opinion into consideration.
3.
I've been working as a shop assistant for a couple of years. I took on the job with a view to earning some extra money for my holiday and never thought I'd get to like it so much. The thing is, I can watch people and their reactions, and I can make them buy things, so I often feel like a psychologist. My favourite tactic is messing clothes up on display, since it makes the items look more popular, as if lots of other customers had looked at them and touched them. They appear like a must-have, you see. I just love it when it works, and you can see lots of people buying the same goods, only because they were displayed like that. I realise that it's a means of manipulation, but what isn't in the world of shopping?
4.
Have you heard of the book called The A to Z of Retail Tricks to Make You Shop? I only looked at its contents list and I knew I wanted to buy it and read it because I'm sick and tired of being manipulated by the shops into buying things. The book lists various techniques used by stores to attract our attention, from the most obvious ones like music, scent, or the chance to finger or squeeze everything, to the less obvious ones, like using mirrors in the shop windows to make us stop, or the colour purple to prompt us to want to spend. I think everybody should read the book and the authorities ought to take action against such manipulation. It should be delegalised because if it doesn't stop, it'll only lead to more consumerism and even more people in debt.
Types of shops. Auction site. Bakers. Bookshop. Butchers. Car boot sale. Chain store. Charity shop. Chemists. Clothes shop. Department store. Furniture shop. Garden centre. Gift shop. Greengrocers. Grocers. Jewelers. Kiosk. Local shop. Market. Music shop. Newsagents. Pet shop. Pharmacy. Pound store. Shoe shop. Shopping centre. Mall. Sports shop. Toy shop. Vending machine. Boutique. DIY store. Duty free. Florists. Go window shopping. Laundrette. Off license. Retail outlet. Stationery shop. Describing products. Cheap and cheerful. Cost a fortune. Costly. Cut price. End of line. Fair price. Half price. High priced. Inexpensive. Low price. Low cost. Overpriced. Pocket-sized. Second-hand. Top quality. Value for money. Worth. Selling and buying. Afford. Assistant. Bargain. Branch. Carrier bag. Cash. Cashier. Charge. Checkout. Competitive prices. Convenient. Cost. Customer. Discount. Display. Fitting room. For sale. Good, bad deal. In the sale. Off. On special offer. Online shopping. Order online. Pay. Purchase. Put up the price. Queue. Receipt. Reduce from, to. Massive reductions. Sell out. Special offer. Take back. Trolley. Aisle. Automatic checkout. Buy in bulk. Buy on impulse. Get cash out. Give a discount. Give a refund. Go cheap. Have money on me. Keep a receipt. Leave feedback. Make a complaint. Make a shopping list. Meet expectations. Pick up a bargain. Put something by. Return an item. Shop around. Shortage of. Speak to the manager. Spend money. Stock up on. Complaining. Take something back. Exchange something. Get money back. Not fit. Work. Refund. Broken. Damaged. Dissatisfaction. Faded. Faulty. Missing. Out of order. Replacement. Scratched. Shrink. Unsatisfactory. Advertising. Advertise. Advertisement. Advert. Banner. Billboard. Brand name. Brochure. Commercial. Consumer. Flyer. Free gift. Leaflet. Logo. Personal ad. Poster. Slogan. Celebrity endorsement. Cold calling. Marketing campaign. Product placement. Sports sponsorship. Viral advertising. Services. Bank. Beauty salon. Car wash. Deliver. Doctor's surgery. driving school, electrician, gardener, hairdressers, petrol station, plumber, police station, post office, real estate agency, service station, travel agency, caterer, chiropractor, council, courier, dry cleaners, optician, solicitor, undertaker, means of payment, by card, by check, chip and pin device, coins, contactless, credit card, debit card, deduct, go through, in cash, insert a card, internet fraud, key in, lose a card, notes, PIN number, small change, banks, account number, bank loan, borrow, lend, cash, cash point, check the balance, check your account, invest, online banking, open an account, put in, take out money, savings account, statement, take, accept credit cards, transfer money, currency, current account, deposit, deposit account, earn interest on, exchange rate, in the red, interest rates, investment bond, overdraft, pay interest on, windfall, withdraw, insurance, check comparison sites, cover, get a quote, get insured, pay monthly installments, take out insurance, fraudulent claim, make a claim, pay up, premium, Read the small print. Renew your insurance. Other. Avoid. Be reasonable with money. Brilliant. Deafening. Do a favor. Exciting. Insist on. Feel about. How do you feel about? Go ahead. Keen on. Keep an eye on. Meet up. On your own. Prove. Spend on. Totally independent. Aim. Common practice. Cultural event. Formidable opponent. Generate. Hit and miss. Part and parcel. Peace and quiet. Pick and choose. Sick and tired. Spark off. Staple foods. Stem from. Strategic position.
CD1 track 36. 1.
Thank you for all your posts regarding our interview last night with a teenage model about the life and work of young fashion models. All your comments were very interesting, so keep on posting them. Like us, a lot of you found the program quite shocking. We're going to invite another young model to our next show, so that she can give us more information about young women who spend their lives on the catwalk. So tune in this time tomorrow. And to finish off today's program, let's go over to Lena Roberts, our fashion correspondent in Paris. Hello, Lena. What can you tell us about the events at Paris Fashion Week?
2.
I really don't understand why teenagers care so much about clothes. Clothes are just part of your appearance, and they don't say much about your personality or who you are as a human being. I feel young myself, but I've never been keen on fashion, and what's more, I really couldn't care less about it. I'm an IT specialist, and I wear clothes I find comfortable, without worrying about what's in and what's out. I wish young people would start paying more attention to other things than looking cool, and stop judging people by the brands they wear.
3.
They say that young people know all about fashion, but my fashion icon isn't exactly the youngest person in my family. I'm 17 and the person who I look up to in terms of style is actually my aunt, who just turned 55. To me, her sense of dress is very tasteful and just incredible. She matches her clothes really well and always looks hip. When I complain to her that I don't have anything to wear, she always tells me not to worry. Look in my wardrobe and find clothes I haven't worn together before. It always works because I combine my outfits anew, and I always look as if I had a new set of clothes. I just love her advice and I often copy her style.
4.
Fashion may not be my interest number one, but at least I think I know what's in, and I love looking at my teenage daughters experimenting with fashions. I must say I really don't get why so many grown-ups criticize young people for being obsessed with fashion. I think they've forgotten when they were younger themselves, and when looks matter to them a lot. I work as a psychologist, and I know that teenagers want to look cool because it's part of their image, and image is central to their sense of self-esteem. So why not let them look after their appearance and help them find their own style?
CD1 track 37.
Welcome to our monthly programme, What's Your Favourite Day? With me in the studio is Alex, who took part in our survey on people's favourite days of the year. The poll was very popular with our listeners, and Alex was one of our respondents. Unlike many others, he chose Thanksgiving to be his beloved time of the year. Most other people mentioned Christmas Day, Easter Sunday, or even Halloween. But few went for the day you chose, Alex. So why Thanksgiving and not, say, Independence Day or Christmas?
Hello everyone. Why Thanksgiving? I guess it's mainly because it isn't a holiday observed everywhere else in the world. The way we celebrate it is unique to North America, and it makes it special for me. It's also connected with our history, as it has its roots in religious and cultural traditions of our nation. So for me, it's just as important as Independence Day we celebrate on July the 4th. I always have a lot of fun on these days.
Alex, please remind our listeners here, in the UK, why this holiday is such a key event in the North American calendar. Is it celebrated on the same day in both the USA and Canada?
No, it isn't. In the USA, we celebrate it on the 4th Thursday in November, while in Canada, it's the 2nd Monday in October. Its importance stems from the fact that the tradition goes back to the very beginnings of our nation. Many people trace the origins of the modern Thanksgiving Day to the harvest celebration that the Pilgrims held in Plymouth, Massachusetts, in 1621. Some others say that the first true Thanksgiving was in 1623, when the Pilgrims wanted to thank for the rain that ended a long-lasting drought. The first official National Thanksgiving Day was proclaimed in 1789 by our first president, George Washington, but it wasn't until 1863 that President Abraham Lincoln declared Thanksgiving to be a national holiday to be observed in November.
Has the way in which you celebrate the holiday changed much over the centuries?
Yes and no. The original holiday was mainly centered around a church service. These days, for most Americans, it's a family day and a special meal. It has become more secular in many ways, though for a lot of Americans, it remains a religious holiday too. The first Pilgrims ate deer, corn, shellfish, and roasted meat, which is far from today's traditional Thanksgiving feast. Now people have a meal which includes a turkey, stuffing, potatoes, cranberry sauce, gravy, pumpkin pie, and vegetables. Now it's usually a 4-day weekend, so we get plenty of time to visit our families. It's just a lovely time, and that's what hasn't changed over the years.
Thank you, Alex, for all the information. Enjoy your next Thanksgiving.
I'm sure I will.
CD1 track 38. Speaker 1.
Times have changed, and you need specialised knowledge in electronics to fix a car or a washing machine or a computer these days. I think there's little point in schools teaching us these things unless that's what you intend to specialise in. I want to be a lawyer. I'd rather pay someone who knows what they're doing to fix things.
Speaker 2.
I think it's a bit of a disgrace, really, that we spend so much time on academic subjects, but people don't even know how to change a light bulb. I'm not just talking about boys. I think girls should learn to do basic things that we need in the home. These are skills for life, and not everybody learns things like this from their parents, so schools should do more.
Speaker 3.
I had a small motorbike for a while, and I was planning to learn how to look after it, but, I never seemed to find the time. Anyway, I didn't need to do much until one day it stopped in the middle of the road in the pouring rain. I didn't have a clue what to do. Luckily, I had my mobile on me, and my dad wasn't too far away. He got it going in seconds. I was really embarrassed. So yes, I would say that practical skills are important in life.
Speaker 4.
There was a time when I was at home on my own and, well, it was a dark and stormy night. The thing is, the lights aren't very good in my house at the best of times, but they were flickering on and off in the living room. I knew a few basics about electrical circuits from my physics classes, so I was able to switch off the power, but just to the living room. It was great that I did that, because otherwise the whole house would have been in darkness, and I definitely didn't want that.
CD1 track 39. Susan Hill is an education consultant, and we've invited her here to talk about vocational training. Susan, I know some people are against this kind of training. What are their reasons?
Well, first of all, some people are very old-fashioned. They think that school should be about learning academic subjects. It's all about facts and theories.
I see.
Secondly, those who are against it say that the skills students learn become outdated very quickly. We live in an ever-changing world, and by the time these people get jobs, they need new skills.
So students are learning things that they can't use in their jobs?
Exactly. Another argument against it is that it's hard for a student to decide at the age of 15 what career he or she wants to follow. So it's too young to specialise in something.
I understand. There's another argument against it that's particularly relevant to Ukraine, isn't there?
Yes. Here in Ukraine, the last big argument against vocational training is to do with local industries. Schools would sometimes prefer to train students in the kinds of jobs available in their region. But these jobs are limited. Students may want to move to another area.
And you don't agree with these points, do you?
No. I am very much in favour of vocational training. Firstly, it seems obvious to me that not everyone is academically gifted, but they do have practical skills that could and should be developed.
You think we should train them for specific jobs?
Yes, and that's my second point. They need to be equipped for the world of work. That's the reason we have an education, isn't it?
Well, it's an important consideration, yes.
Thirdly, we need people to do essential jobs. We can't have a world full of lawyers and doctors. Where are the nurses going to come from? Who is going to run our factories and drive our trains?
Well, that's a lot to think about, Susan. We'll leave it there for the moment and we'll come back. CD1 track 40.
What do you think of vocational or professional training in schools?
Well, first of all, I think we need to train people for the job market, and that needs to begin with schools. But some changes are necessary. Let me explain. First of all, I think we're asking too much of students to decide, at the age of 15, what job they want to do. How many people really know that at 15? Maybe a few, but I certainly didn't. So we need courses that students can choose from and, more importantly, change easily, as their ambitions change.
It is important, though, isn't it, to train people for the world of work?
Of course. Vocational training exists to train a competitive workforce for the job market. But the people we are training now are for tomorrow's job market, and that may change. So, we need to keep a close eye on the skills needed and include any changes in our teaching.
So what do you think we should be teaching our secondary school students?
It seems obvious to me that we need to develop academic and practical skills among our teenagers. I think they need both, but I accept that some find it difficult to do one or the other. What I say is, keep teaching them both academic subjects and skills that they will need for their professional lives. We can do both.
And how do you see your role as a teacher?
We as teachers need to encourage personal skills, life skills, skills that students can take with them wherever they go. We have to focus on making them, firstly, good people who care about others. Then we need to teach them to be adaptable and free-thinking enough to be able to survive in the job market, whatever changes may come. These should be basic goals in whatever subject we teach.
We're nearly out of time. Can you sum up what you would like to happen in Ukraine?
It comes down to two things. We should not be aiming to fill our universities, academies, and institutes with people who cannot later find jobs. Nor should we lose touch with the professional and vocational skills that we will need when today's young people enter the job market. We have a great education system here. We must make sure it does the best possible job in terms of preparing our young people for the real world.
CD1 track 41.
Silicon Valley, situated in Northern California in the USA, is the place where a lot of people from all over the world dream of working. The place has become a synonym for the highly successful American high-tech sector. It is home to many of the world's most renowned technological corporations, such as Google, Apple, Mozilla, Intel, or Facebook, and has established itself as a center for outstanding innovation and research. Its name comes from the high concentration of companies involved in making silicon chips for the computer industry, and was used for the first time in 1971. The history and the success of Silicon Valley is closely connected with the work of scientists and engineers from Stanford University, one of the leading American educational institutions which has helped create and exploit the enormous potential of the area. The students were encouraged to set up their own businesses and become real entrepreneurs, which led to the development of this region. Silicon Valley is also associated with the idea of the American dream, where everybody, no matter how poor, can achieve a lot through hard work and determination. A lot of incredibly prosperous innovators started their careers there. Among other famous people like William Hewlett and David Packard from Hewlett-Packard, Steve Jobs from Apple, or Mark Zuckerberg from Facebook. It's actually possible to visit the garage where Hewlett and Packard developed their first product. Their garage is now recognized as a California historical landmark.
CD1 track 42. 1.
Where is Silicon Valley?
2.
What was the name of Steve Jobs' first major workplace?
3.
Which important document is the idea of the American dream rooted in?
4.
Name 4 companies which have their headquarters in Silicon Valley.
5.
Who encouraged Steve Jobs to work with electronics?
6.
Whose garage is a monument in Silicon Valley?
7.
Which 2 companies did Steve Jobs set up?
8.
What's the name of the most famous university in Silicon Valley?
CD1 track 43.
So, what are the stereotypes about the English?
Well, before I talk specifically about the English, there's a stereotype about all the people living in the British Isles, which is the fact that there are lots of redheads there. I'm not sure how true this is, but that's what people think. As for the English, they are seen as reserved and unemotional but polite individuals with a terribly sarcastic sense of humour that no one understands. England is also associated with terrible food but delicious puddings and football maniacs. But as with other nations, a lot of these are just stereotypes and prove untrue in many cases. Like the Scottish, who are perceived as mean by the rest of the world. I know many Scottish people who are actually very generous. And Scottish men, unless they come from a very traditional background, don't wear kilts either, except on some special occasions. Their traditional food is haggis, which makes some people sick just at the thought of it. As for the Welsh, well, the English present them as naive sheep lovers in their jokes, but at the same time admire them for their musical talents and passion for rugby, which actually is a very popular sports discipline in most of the English-speaking countries.
And the Irish?
The Irish are often considered to be great dancers and potato lovers, but again, I know a lot of Irish people who are the opposite. Though I must admit, there's a fair number of redheads with freckles in Ireland, so maybe there's some truth in stereotypes. However, most of these are often unfair ones.
CD1 track 44. 1.
What are two stereotypes about the English?
2.
What is a pun?
3.
What's the name of the actor who plays Mr. Bean?
4.
What are four symbols of the UK mentioned in this unit?
5.
What is slapstick?
6.
What are two stereotypes about the Scottish?
7.
Name two titles of very popular British comedy series.
8.
What is the world's most famous sketch about?